Everybody, it's Pandy. I'm playing World of Tanks. I just saw something funny and I just want to share it with you guys before I get into the SU-152 self-propelled heavy howitzer. And it's on Korean television and it's pretty funny. Like this couple, they're married, guy and woman. Woman's off at Hawaii or someplace that speaks English and it's a vacation resort, whatever. This guy's back in Korea trying to get a divorce and he took out all his money in life insurance. Turned around, went to like an acting school and asked them to find him a girl that will, looks a lot like his wife or exactly like his wife to get a divorce in 2 days because that's when she gets back. What's hilarious is the guy that he's asking this to is like, no, you know how much trouble we get and if we get caught, how much like prison time we would get for falsifying shit and I don't want to do it. Dude whips out a stack of money, like, boom, right on the table. Guy looks at it, looks up, and goes, "Do you have a picture? Do you have a picture of her?" I was like, what the fuck? Money does everything, doesn't it? Anyways, this is about the SU-152 self-propelled heavy artillery. I'm going to talk a little bit about this tank. During the Stalingrad counteroffensive, which is Operation Uranus, it showed that the Red Army just needed a more mobile heavy gun because what it had encountered when its infantry moved forward along with its medium tanks, they just simply didn't have enough firepower to deal with a lot of pillboxes and fortifications that the Germans had set up in and around the flanks of Stalingrad. The success at the Stalingrad counteroffensive relied heavily on artillery and combat engineers and luckily was successful in their objective of surrounding the 6th Army. Most of the time the Soviet guns were either towed, then self-propelled, and the lack of the mobility associated with these artillery pieces was noticed because of the deep snow cover that covered a lot of the movement. It pretty much made it very difficult to move through all the snow. On December 31st, 1942, a new project was developed and began as the Object 236. After only 25 days, the first trial prototypes was built and rolled off the factory floors on January 25th of the following year. The SU-152 was built off the chassis of the KV-1S Halls at the time, and it allowed for quicker production of this armored fighting vehicle because they were already producing the hulls of it. So it was just kind of like, okay, we got these hulls, let's just go ahead and put a classmate on it and make it a self-propelled gun. At the time when production was finished and they were issued out the units, most of the time they were not given AP rounds to the crew because it had a single job. It was supporting the infantry with direct fire. With no tank killing in mind for this tank, no armor testing was conducted before it entered service, so they didn't actually try the gun against enemy tanks or captured tanks. When they finally tested the 152mm on a captured Tiger tank in early 1943, it showed that this gun, this 152mm main gun, was able to destroy it at range, at any range. So it was, it had so much blast effect, it would tear the turret off the vehicle just by sheer explosion. This spurred massive production in regards to the Soviet Union's tank production. It actually was the second most produced vehicle right behind the T-32. The SU-152 was also, proved to be cheap and highly effective as a tank killer. Its main disadvantage was that it had a very low rate of fire and ammunition was heavy, so, obviously it's harder to load it. And also, it didn't carry as much ammunition in the cramped crew compartment, and it also proved to be very uncomfortable. The armor was only slightly better than the T-34, which left it pretty much open prey to the Tiger tank and the Panther tanks, and also any Panzer IVs and Stugs that happened to have the 75mm main guns. The SU-152 was first seen at the Battle of Kursk, and it was founded to be having a very important role during the Battle of Berlin. As you guys know, there was a lot of, room-to-room fighting, building-to-building fighting, street fighting, and the SU-152 provided that punch to be able to destroy buildings while protecting the crew members against small arms fire. Production of the SU-152 ceased with the introduction of the ISU-152 in December of 1943. This was also again for the ability to produce and have more of a standardization in the production of armored fighting vehicles. the SU-152 seen service up until the Iraqi War in 2003, when the Iraqis still used it in some fashion as pillboxes, or pretty much heavy anti-tank guns in the stationary position. Pretty much they would bury the son of a bitch in a bunch of dirt and then would pretty much man it as just a stationary gun. No recorded combat history during that war for the SU-152. Most of the time the crew members would already abandon them, and there's only been one time that it was said that the Abrams tank had to actually put a sabot round straight to the front of it. So it was used a long time. It's seen service in the Polish and all the war pack countries, and Egypt, and the last actual recorded war where it was used extensively as a combat fighting vehicle was during the wars between Egypt and Israel in 1967 and 1973. Now, in World of Tanks, the SU-152 is pretty fucking epic. With the biggest gun mounted on it, it provides the most damage per minute of any vehicle with the largest gun. Now, the reason why I say the largest gun is because the SU-152 also mounts this gun, but it also mounts bigger guns, and by the time you are a Tier 8 tank, this gun becomes less effective. So, it's a really, really, really good gun, but it's still not the best, but it provides the most damage per minute of any other gun. Now, the fast loading ability of this gun, round after round of 152 or 122 millimeter rounds of death, allows you to target anything with quick and rapid fire. It makes it very, very effective against any tank, especially smaller tanks where you can one-shot them one after the other. Now, the armor on this tank is not ideal. It's not exactly super great for a Tier 7. You're still able to be damaged and destroyed by many Tier 5 tanks through the front, especially if they have their large upgraded cannons. It's not ideally suited for brawling, not just because it's a tank destroyer, but because its armor isn't simply the greatest. You want to stay out of enemy view range and sit back and snipe. It's really good for sniping, even though its accuracy might not be the greatest. It's still accurate enough for you to reach out and bite someone at 600 meters. The mobility this tank is somewhat better than the KV-1S in World of Tanks due to the ability not just to turn. You can stay in one spot and turn your tank, unlike the KV-1S where you have to move forward just ever so slightly to turn a tank left or right. I love the ability to being able to move like a KV-1S in this thing from A to B, and from one firing position to the other with speed and style allows you to utilize this 122 very effectively. Its turning rate is pretty damn good and allows you to fix onto targets rather quickly, and it's a good combination. Overall, the SU-152 is one of the better tank destroyers I've played. I've been a huge fan of the SU-85 with the 107mm gun, the SU-100 with the 122mm, and now the SU-152 with the 122mm. I'm a fan of them all. If you manage to get past the SU-85B and you get the big guns for each one of the tank destroyers down the line, or up the line if you want to call it, it's a lot of fun. It's well worth it. For a tank without a turret, it is very well balanced for armor, firepower, and mobility. It's only second in epicness to the T-95. Now, this is going to be a bit different, as in instead of my bi-weekly gold contest, I've developed a restructured method of giving away gold to everybody so people can have more chances to win more free gold, or not more free gold, but more, get a better chance of winning. Instead of every 2 weeks, I plan on doing a gold contest type deal or giveaway for every single World of Tanks video that I do. I'll be giving something away as long as the voice commentary and the amount of gold is not going to be the same. It's going to be a little lower because I'll be giving it away more often. It'll be 1,250 gold for the North American server, 1,500 gold for the European server, and still going to be 2,500 for the Russian servers. This is all due to market values and prices. So I want to be able to give you guys more chances, more opportunities to win gold for everybody, because twice a month is not enough in my opinion. So I decided if I lower the amount that's going to put costs on me, I can give it away more often, and instead of just 2 times a month, it'll be 4 times, 6 times a month. It just really depends on how many times I put out a World Tanks video with voice commentary. Again, the rules are simple. You just have to subscribe to my channel and also post a comment down below, maybe even about the question of the video, which is, which tank destroyer is your favorite? Yeah, go ahead and post a comment down below and tell me what you think. And if you like free gold, I know everyone loves free gold. I know I love free gold. I just got gold from World of Tanks Wargaming for winning that Kill 'Em All contest, and I was actually quite happy. So now I got the feeling of how you guys feel about gold. So that's why I decided to go go ahead and lower the amount so I can give it away more often. So I was really happy in getting it, and I know how happy a lot of you guys probably get, whoever has been winners in the past. Again, this was Pandy. Thanks everyone, and good hunting.